4 reasons why Patrick Mahomes is overpaid. Subscribe to the channel and comment down below saying I subscribed to enter this month's shoutout giveaway. His weapons.
And Hill in motion. Mahomes looks that way. Now will fire and hit his man at the 40. Oh, look out!
Last year, I noted that when Mahomes lost one of his best weapons in Kareem Hunt, his stats took a nosedive. And this year, while Hunt has moved on to the Cleveland Browns, he is still surrounded by an all-star cast of skill position players. Guys like Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, LaShawn McCoy are all established stars and give new guys like Mecole Hardman and Demarcus Robinson lightning fast and explosive. No team in the league has a collection of speed and athleticism like the Chiefs have, and we saw that on display when Mahomes went down with injury and Matt Moore came off in the couch to start games for KC. Moore has never been a consistent starter in the NFL and played just 49 games spread across parts of the 10 NFL seasons, and he wasn't even in the league last year or this year as he was at home coaching high school football. The Chiefs quite literally called him up from the couch to drive the best offense in the game, and guess what? He was lights out. In 3 games spelling an injured Mahomes, Moore threw for 659 yards and 4 touchdowns without throwing an interception while completely nearly 65% of his throws. His quarterback rating was 100.9. In Mahomes' 3 seasons with the Chiefs, he has a career QB rating of 112.3 while completing 66% of his passes. His 4.85 to 1 TD to interception ratio is strong, but it can't touch Moore's 4-0 ratio. The Chiefs' record in Moore's 3 games 2-1 with a big win over the likely to be playoff-bound Minnesota Vikings. The rest of the season with Mahomes at the helm, an underwhelming 4-3 with losses coming to Houston, Indianapolis, and Tennessee. Those 3 teams' records against all teams that aren't starting Patrick Mahomes, 13-12. No, I'm not saying that Matt Moore is as good as Patrick Mahomes, clearly he's not, but when a guy can go from being in the league at all to getting you 90% of what your starter was giving you with no lead time, you have to wonder, is Mahomes great? Or is it just another offensive genius Andy Reid scheme that works no matter who is throwing the ball? Injuries.
2 seconds ago.
Empty backfield on 2nd down and 8. Pick your poison here. Mahomes escapes, throw.
I know, it's not Mahomes' fault he is seemingly made of glass. Mahomes has suffered through an ankle injury all season long and then dislocated his kneecap against the Denver Broncos. In total, he's missed most of 3 games this season. Even last season when he started all 16 games for KC, he was seemingly hobbled by one ailment or another. This guy is a beast and plays through pain and recovers from injuries as quickly as anybody in the league. But when you're throwing around terms like the best quarterback in the league or the highest paid quarterback, which he might be when he signs his contract extension, you're held to a very high standard. And in order to be on that level, you have to be on the field. When the Portland Trail Blazers famously took on Sam Bowie over Michael Jordan in the 1984 NBA draft, it was the right pick at the time. Only in hindsight does it look absurd. Bowie was a national seasoner and Olympic team member, and as they had recently cycled Clyde Drexler the year before, a guy that became a Hall of Famer playing a game similar to Jordan's, they didn't need Jordan, they needed a big man. But when we look back at that pick, we all laugh as the Blazers had a shot at drafting the best player and passed up on him. But in reality, the only reason that Bowie wasn't an elite player was because of injury. The big man could never stay healthy, and in 10 NBA seasons, all he did was make people wonder how good he could have been if he had stayed on the court. Nobody looks back and questions why the Houston Rockets took Hakeem Olajuwon at number 1 in the same draft, because the Dream managed to stay healthy and had a great career. It is a cautionary tale for sure, and while the injuries are certainly not Mahomes' fault, if the Chiefs give him a $200 million to constantly be rehabbing some sort of injury and being a shell of himself, people are going to look back on it like taking Sam Bowie ahead of Michael Jordan. The human body could only take so much of a beating, and when you play a fast-paced game like Mahomes does, you're going to take some hits, and you have to be able to stay on the field. Every time Mahomes gets up limping, Chief fans hold their breath. Can't win the big game. I mentioned this in last year's article, and it still rings true this year. Mahomes has 4 wins this year as a starting quarterback. Wins against the Lions, Jaguars, and Raiders leave a lot to be desired. Those 3 teams are just a combined 12-14-1. The win over Baltimore was a good one, but we're over 60% through the regular season, and Mahomes has a total of 1 win to pride himself on. That doesn't exactly scream make me the highest paid player in the NFL's history, does it? Until Mahomes can take his team to the playoffs and get to a Super Bowl, he absolutely doesn't deserve to be the highest paid in this league. When you take a look at the highest paid QBs in the game, nearly all of them have been to a Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Matt Ryan, Russell Wilson, Ben Roethlisberger, Joe Flacco, Jared Goff, Cam Newton, Eli Manning, Nick Foles, and Drew Brees all have Super Bowls on their resume. And the guys that have got huge contracts and never made it to the promised land, guys like Matthew Stafford, Kirk Cousins, and Derek Carr, I guarantee all of those general managers are regretting making such huge investments that never get panned out. And that is how NFL works as a quarterback. You get paid to go to the Super Bowls, period. And most of those guys on that list, they had to get to the Super Bowl before they got to their big payday. Wrap up. I know many of you out there are going to call me a hater, but in the back of your mind you know that I'm right. I am not saying that Patrick Mahomes isn't a great quarterback, he is clearly, but does he deserve to be paid more than any other player in the history of the league when he has done some fairly big red flag waving? I don't think so. In the NFL, you rarely get paid for what you might do in the future. You have to prove yourself, and Mahomes just hasn't done that yet. So let's all calm down and say that Mahomes is better than Brady, Rodgers, and Breeze until this guy actually does something besides rack up gaudy stats against bad teams in the regular season. If you think I'm a Mahomes hater, make sure you bookmark this article to reread on February 3rd when someone not named Patrick Mahomes is hoisting up the Lombardi Trophy after winning the Super Bowl. This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss out on any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are currently on your screen because I'm sure you'll love. With that, I'll see you in the next video.